Live at Red Wilson Field, I'm Will Connerly, happy to be alongside Brad Klein, and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox set to take on the Cotuit Cavaliers, playing host to a team from the other side, and both teams coming off a loss, both teams looking to get back on the winning track tonight.
Well, more specifically, Y-D coming off a bye, and a much-needed bye at that. After a 7-1 defeat on the road against Wareham, they had a few minutes to kind of take a seat and relax and decompress. They played a lot of baseball back-to-back-to-back. These college kids, they're used to playing weekend series, have the week off afterwards. That's not the case on the Cape, so there's a bit of a culture shock there, much-needed day off. Cotuit, on the other hand, they played yesterday, and they lost a 6-4 loss for Cotuit, and now they really need a win against a team who has already been established as one of the best in the East.
That is true for sure. And when you talk about the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, it was the pitching that has really been standout this year. But at Wareham and the last few games, the offense has struggled. The team hitting right around that Mendoza line through 4 games.
203 as a team, and you really look right now at Zach Jacobs as the starter who needs to step up. The bullpen has been really good. The pitching staff as a whole has been excellent. And you mentioned before, the hitting needs to improve. That's true. But now after the off day, you're kind of waiting for, okay, is the hitting going to improve or is the pitching going to improve after that 7-1 loss? So right now, I'm looking at the hitting because Y-D is hitting 203 as a team, which is kind of weird to say because, as I mentioned before, they are already known as one of the best teams on the Cape.
Early on, that has been the case for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. The pitching's been pretty solid. Off to a pretty good start here facing Cotuit, who had the league championship in 2019, and a team that they have come up a couple losses, but the starting pitchers haven't gone deep into the ball games for them this year. None of them have got out of the 4th inning.
Yeah, it's put a lot of pressure on the bullpen, and I think the fallacy is, well, if a lot of guys have been forced into action from the bullpen, then the bullpen's not doing very well. Couldn't be farther from the truth. As a team, as a bullpen, they have a 3.71 ERA in 17 innings pitched, 3 games. I actually think that's pretty good. That allows Cotuit to keep in the game and tread water. Now it's on the starters to really step up, and it's Ryan Long's day to do that from D3.
From the Division III, both starting pitchers today from the state of California, where they played their college ball this past year. But the interesting thing about Ryan Long, didn't play in 2021, so hasn't pitched in collegiate action since 2020 season, and that was a shortened campaign at that. So great opportunity for him to showcase his stuff here against Y-D. And then on the other hand, when you talk about Jacobs, a guy that we both got to see up close with the pitch of the week, that was posted earlier, but excited to see his
Go check
stuff.
it out. What a shameless plug, man. On Twitter, it's Instagram, whatever. But yeah, pitch of the week, and it was that spike curveball. He actually says, ironically, it's the pitch he has most control of because you don't think of the spike curve as a pitch that you necessarily command, more of a bounce pitch, more of a wipeout pitch. It's going to be very interesting to see if he uses it to establish the count rather than end it.
And we'll see how deep he can go. Last time he towed the rubber, he went 9 innings. So we'll see at Riverside to end the season. So today, we'll see how deep he can go for Coach Pickler and the Y-D Red Sox. But we'll flip it over to the field and give you the starting lineups. Get ready for the beginning of this one between the Y-D Red Sox and the Cotuit Cavaliers, as Jacobs is making his warm-up tosses. Going to face off against Cole Cummings, Dylan Beavers, Brooks Baldwin, Nathan Marotella, Ben Rice, RJ Schreck, Luke Gold, Eric Brown, and Brett Roberts. Jacobs going to be tossing to Cade Hunter behind the plate. Peyton Graham over at third base. Brooks Lee at short. Pascal Ferreras at second. Baez at first. And Smith, Knight, and Luttrell in the outfield. As Jacobs here set to pitch against Cole Cummings. And first pitch missed low and inside. Here against Cummings, playing third base today, swinging it from the left side with the open stance. And the changeup in there for a strike. He features a changeup and that spike curve, along with a pretty good fastball. And 2 balls and a strike after that pitch misses low from Jacobs. Jacobs' 80 innings pitched with a 5.18 ERA was 1-6 as that ball is sprayed foul down the right field line at UC Riverside this past year. So he got a good amount of work on the mound with 80 innings tossed. And had the complete game to end his season as that pitch misses inside and the count runs full to the first batter of the game, Cole Cummings.
Well, Jacobs seeing his first action of his Red Sox career, and a lot of people around the program think he might have some of the best stuff.
That ball grounded to the right side. First baseman Baez flip over to Jacobs, and the pitcher makes a nice job to get over to the first base bag. And Brad, you talked to Jacobs in the offseason. He expressed how athletic he was and his ability to showcase that athleticism on the mound. Well, he does that on the first opportunity, getting over to first base and covering the bag.
We can talk a lot and we can give Zach Jacobs a lot of credit and a lot of compliments. Modesty is not his strength. He actually told me straight up, I'm the most athletic pitcher you'll ever see, and he lives for balls in play.
He had one right there. Pitcher's fielding practiced on the 3-2 pitch and was able to get over to first base. As another lefty up to the plate for Cotuit, Dylan Beavers, the right fielder. 2 balls, no strikes here with 1 away in the first. Jacobs gets back in the zone on the 2-0 pitch.
Jacobs early on, and we're only, a batter and a half through, but he's shown fearlessness. Behind in the count, not afraid to go inside on the lefty.
And the breaking ball drops into the zone for strike 2. That's his favorite pitch, and he dropped it in there, that spike curve.
Personal experience, not easy. I'll tell you that. Not easy to locate.
As Jacobs gets the signs from Hunter, and it's fouled back. Dylan Beavers at the plate, University of California. He's an incoming junior. Hit .303 with 18 home runs. Led the Pac-12 in home runs in 2021 with 10 home runs in conference play. And that ball grounded to the right side. Ferreras over to first, and he got him. Baez with the stretch, and there's 2 away.
What a play by Pascal Ferreras. All his momentum going away from the bag, but he's able to plant that right foot, stop himself before the body's even supposed to stop, and then make a great throw with a great stretch by Baez.
That brings up Brooks Baldwin, the 3rd consecutive left-handed hitter that the right-hander Jacobs has seen. To begin this game, he gets the curveball in for a strike, 0-1.
And Pickler also had Ferreras playing on the grass on that last at-bat. He's doing the same here. I don't think he makes that play without that deep positioning in shallow right field.
The 0-1. The breaking ball misses high. Looked like a similar spot, but make it 1 ball and 1 strike. Here to Brooks Baldwin out of UNC Wilmington. Hit .325 with 15 home runs this past spring. And that ball hit to the right side. Ferreras tries to climb the ladder, but over his head into right field. And that's a 2-out base knock here in the first for Brooks Baldwin.
Oh, now Ferreras wishing he was playing a little deeper, right? And he just missed that one by an inch. But a great piece of hitting by Baldwin to take it the way he was comfortable, take the pitch where it was thrown on the inside corner, and then just dump it into right field.
Nathan Marotella up to the plate. Another left-hander, 4 consecutive lefties here for Cotuit. After the 2-out single, Brooks Baldwin on first and a swing and a miss on the first offering from Jacobs, 0-1 the count.
Jacobs really establishing the changeup early on, using it very early in counts, and I really like that strategy. Typically seeing the fastball or that go-to pitch, that curveball I thought would be his established pitch.
Jacobs going to take a look over at Baldwin at first base, back in time.
But it also has some really nice run, that changeup. Jacobs
comes set. Going to take another look over at Baldwin at first, keeping a close eye on the 3-hole and left fielder for Cotuit, who had a single to the right side on first base. And the 0-1. The breaking ball in there for a strike, and Jacobs has shown that he can throw 3 pitches for strikes here in the first. A great quality to have for a starting pitcher to go deep into ball games. Now up 0-2 in the count. Third look over at Baldwin, dives back in time. The pinstripe pants for Cotuit. The white uniforms for the Red Sox with the Red Sox printed across the chest and the Y-D on the left shoulder. A pitch up and away by Jacobs was way ahead in the count. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Another look over at Baldwin back in time. Martorella was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 30th round of the 2019 first-year player draft from the University of California. Hit .237 with 5 home runs this past season, and he's gone. He did go around. Jacobs buries it and ends the top of the first with a strikeout. To the bottom frame we go. No score here at Red Wilson Field. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education at graduate studies, including fifth-year master's programs at www.curry.edu. Peyton Graham, Brooks Lee, and Chase Luttrell due up for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the first.
Well, I like Peyton Graham hitting in the 1 hole, a guy that has shown the ability to pretty much do anything offensively. Hit for extra bases sparingly. No one really hitting for extra bases commonly for the Red Sox early on, but also an ability to get on base and be a problem when he does.
And the first pitch from Ryan Long upstairs. Pomona Pitzer, Division III out of Claremont, California, as the right-hander finds the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Didn't play in 2021, but was 2-0 with a 3.8 ERA and 21 strikeouts over 23 2/3 innings pitched. And the breaking ball gets Graham to ground to the shortstop Brown across the diamond to Martorella, and there's 1 away.
Just off the end of the bat right there. Actually looked like he might have had a good read on it, put a good swing on it. Just missed it off the end of the bat. Now, actually a very nice play by Martorella as well.
Long, a rising senior, coming from the Division III level, his most recent university, Pomona Pitzer. Didn't have action in 2021, so Brooks Lee with his 7th hit of the season. The breaking ball, he jumped right on it, leading the team in hitting, and gets a hit here in the bottom of the first with one away. The very talented switch-hitting shortstop Brooks Lee continuing to produce in every game he's aboard for Chase Luttrell. Chase Luttrell 4 for 15 with the .267 average, 1 run driven in. As Brooks Lee is aboard at first, and Long comes set. Pitch misses high. And Y-D, they had some offensive struggles, but they found something in the 9th against Wareham. Got some hits going, and that was nice to see. Too little, too late in that frame, but to put together some offense in that regard was nice to see. And Brooks Lee, of course, he's setting the tone and setting the pace for the offense. Chase Luttrell, 4 of 15 so far this year. Has some good power hitting in the middle of this Red Sox order. And a check over at Brooks Lee, but gets back with plenty of time. Chase Luttrell out of Long Beach State. The .291 career batting average there in 3 seasons. The 1-1. Changeup misses low from Ryan Long. Long, very big frame, 6'6". He stands on top of the hill.
And that might be one of those things that has helped him get to the Cape. A lot of people at home might be wondering, oh, how did this guy get noticed to the point where Cotuit wanted him on the roster and he's starting against the Y-D Red Sox right now, coming from D3. And yeah, he's going to go play for Georgetown and he has bigger baseball ahead of him, but that frame makes people pay attention.
The frame, the size, of course, a higher ceiling a lot of times when you have more length on the mound as Luttrell sprays that foul down the left field line. Now a full count. Luttrell, 9 home runs in 3 seasons at Long Beach State, but had 8 this past season in 2021, hit .316, had a very successful campaign in 2021 this past spring. Another peek over at Brooks Lee, but he's not going anywhere. Full count, though, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 away. 1 aboard in Brooks Lee, who singled. Luttrell at the plate. And the 3-2 from Long. Fouled away, we'll do it again.
Well, Y-D has actually had a lot of success with the hit and run, and Chase Luttrell has shown an ability to put the ball in play, hit or not. The last time he struck out 2 games ago, and he puts the ball on the ground at the very least. I like the move to be aggressive with Brooks Lee on the base paths.
Another check over at Brooks Lee. Plenty of time. Brooks Lee donning the high Red Sox today over at first base. Maybe he'll motor around the base paths here. The full count. And the offering, he's off to the races. It's fouled away by Luttrell. And Luttrell putting together a good at-bat here, making Ryan Long work very hard to try to put him away. Fouling off some competitive pitches up in the strike zone multiple times. The cat and mouse game, what does he go to here? Full count with 1 away. Brooks Lee's been off the last 2 times. And Luttrell fouls it off, this time to the right side. It was a breaking ball that hung up in the zone, and Luttrell was able to spoil it. Putting together an at-bat like this, Luttrell gaining a lot of information about Long's repertoire. He's able to relay that information to the rest of the team, as Long has had to use 3 different pitches just in this at-bat to try to put Luttrell away.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see if Lee is sent again, because it's basically been the entire at-bat where he's been on the move.
He is on the move, and Luttrell sprays it foul, this time pretty deep down the Y-D bullpen area, but out of play. And a souvenir for a fan. So long at bat by Chase Luttrell, battling up here against Ryan Long. And here comes the 10th pitch of the at bat, and it's fouled away again. Incredible at bat by Chase Luttrell, as Ryan Long got Peyton Graham to ground out, Brooks Lee singled, and Luttrell has been making Ryan Long work on the mound. And here comes the 11th pitch to Luttrell. That ball hit toward foul territory. Could be an opportunity. No, it drops down.
And now this at-bat is so long, Will, that it's actually become one of those things where later in the game, by the time we get to the 3rd, 4th inning, towards the end of Long's outing, we're going to look at this at-bat in the bottom of the 1st inning as a turning point for him, because it's just messing up his pitch count right now.
It is. A dozen pitches thrown to Chase Luttrell. He's battled with 6 consecutive foul balls. And the 3-2 pitch is fouled off again. Chase Luttrell's not gone down without a fight. And the 13th pitch now awaits us. Or the 13th pitch
we just saw.
So pitch number 14 coming up for us. We've exceeded the baker's dozen just on this at-bat. We'll do the full count again. And results in a walk. So Chase Luttrell battling off foul balls left and right, and eventually finds himself on first base after a long at-bat that went in favor of from the slugger from Long Beach State. So Ryan Long surrenders the single to Brooks Lee and the free pass to Chase Luttrell. Pascal Ferreras, who has 2 hits on the season, 2 runs driven in, is up at the plate with 2 runners aboard and 1 away.
That's a huge at-bat by Luttrell, and he knows it. That's the best at-bat we've seen from him this year.
And Long finds the strike zone. Ferreras was taken right there on the outside corner. Strike 1 from the right-hander. But a great at-bat by Luttrell. Can the Red Sox make Long pay? As Ferreras fouls that one back and out of play. Now Ferreras in an 0-2 hole. Pascal Ferreras from Western Carolina, 2 for 13 on the season, has struck out 6 times. Hit .329 with 16 home runs at Western Carolina this season. Runners on first and second, with 1 away in the bottom of the 1st. And the 0-2 pitch is popped up toward shallow right field. Beavers calls everyone off, catches it, and there's 2 outs.
So Ferreras is in the on-deck circle for a long time with that Luttrell at-bat. And what's he reading? He's reading the pitches. He has a very good idea of what he's going to see in the box, thinking that maybe Long's a little anxious, a little tired, and he's aggressive. And I like that he's aggressive, but that's what happens. 3 pitches later, Pascal Ferreras with an uncompetitive pop-up to right field.
Nathan Baez now at the plate. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Long gets a strike, knee high on the outside corner, the fastball for a strike. Nathan Baez watched it go into the mid of Rice, the catcher. So Brooks Lee on second, Luttrell at first, and Baez at the plate. The 0-1 pitch from Long. It misses low, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. But either way, Chase Luttrell has made Ryan Long have a long bottom of the first, over 20 pitches thrown just in this frame because of that 14-pitch at bat. That ball skied toward the shortstop Brown. He backs up and will catch it in shallow left field for the third out. So the Red Sox strand a pair, and we send it to the second. No score on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back for the top of the second here at Red Wilson Field. I'm alongside Brad Klein. Happy to be here. Some home cooking for the Y-D Red Sox. A handful of home games coming up in the near future for Y-D here in the top of the second. No score here against the Cotuit Cavaliers. Ben Rice, R.J. Schreck, and Luke Gold, the hitters that Zach Jacobs will face as that ball sprayed to the left side. Brooks Lee was shading toward the middle, and the left-handed hitter just chopped it to the left side. Hard hit ground ball for a leadoff single here in the top of the second. So R.J. Schreck, the center fielder, now to the plate. The sixth straight left-hander that Jacobs has seen. He keeps an eye on the catcher, Ben Rice, at first base, who led off the top of the second with the single to the left side. And the first offering to Schreck misses low. It was the breaking ball, low and in. Cade Hunter working behind the plate. We've mainly seen him behind the plate this season. Gonzalez got his first action against Wareham behind the plate. But other than that, it's been all Cade Hunter.
And I'm actually a little surprised that we're not seeing right now Fernando Gonzalez catching as a starter, because Scott Pickler told us that Gonzalez is dealing with a minor issue in terms of his wrist, nothing major, but didn't really want him swinging the bat. Said that after the off day, which was yesterday, he'd be fine. And now it's Cade Hunter. So I'm wondering if he had a setback. Probably not, because he seemed like he was fine in warm-ups. But Hunter goes.
The 2-0 pitch here to R.J. Schreck, the slugger from Duke, who hit .337 this past season with 18 home runs. A lot of players from the Cape. You can tell what university they go to by some of the equipment they have. As you see Schreck with the blue kicks on, representing Duke's colors, but had 18 home runs, hit .337, which was second best for Duke, and the 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Originally from Los Angeles, California. Went to Harvard Westlake High School, the home of many talented MLB pitchers. And the 3-1, a swing, no, a foul ball, so it's a full count.
Well, it's that breaking ball that really had him fooled. And even if you know it's coming, the way Jacobs uses it in so many different ways, he can use it as that wipeout pitch, but there he was trying to paint on the outside corner and really challenge him. I've been very impressed, and it's very clear that Shrek had nothing he could do on that pitch.
So Jacobs working here with a full count. Trying to work around the leadoff single. The 3-2. Hit toward the right side. Luttrell under it in right, and he'll catch it in deep right field for the first out here in the top of the second.
So Jacobs challenges him with the fastball, and Shrek just missed it, just got under it. It was very, very close to being out. And remember, doesn't take much to hit the ball out at Red Wilson Field. Very shallow to the corners, very shallow to center.
The hitter-friendly park as Luke Gold, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. The breaking ball nips the outside corner for strike one. Luke Gold from Boston College hit .316 with 9 home runs, 45 runs driven in this past season at BC. As Jacobs keeps an eye over on Ben Rice at first base. Was first team All ACC in 2021 this past spring. The first right-handed hitter that Jacobs has seen, and the pitch misses low and inside. The first 6 hitters in the Cotuit lineup were left-handers, and now Jacobs facing off against the right-handed hitting designated hitter Luke Gold, who really was a standout this past year at Boston College. And the pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2.
And Gold's one of those guys who's really looking for a position at this point. I think in pro ball, he's going to be a first baseman. But right now, I think you've seen him experiment in corner outfield before, sparingly at third base. I think he's a first baseman, though.
That pitch misses low, the 1-2. Make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now with 1 away and 1 on, Jacobs looking to get a ground ball, which could end the inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out and 1 on. As the umpire confirms the count. Jacobs comes set, and that ball grounded over to Brooks Lee. Flip over to Pascanel Ferreras at second, and Y-D does get the ground ball and the lead runner. Then now there's 2 outs after the middle infield was able to execute on that out. Brooks Lee had to shade well to his right to get that ball, and nice job to get the lead runner there.
And Lee just makes it look so effortless, and for him it is. And he knew that it was a slow roller towards third base, away from the first base bag. So even with Gold's lack of speed, it was going to be very tough to get to. So he took his time, got the force, and Ferreras knew he had pretty much no play.
Here comes Eric Brown to the plate, who took a healthy hack on the first offering from Jacobs, swung through it. Infielder from Coastal Carolina University, playing shortstop today for Cotuit. Hit .294 with 9 bombs this past spring. Jacobs' pitch misses in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike here with 2 outs. Brown 3 for 13 so far this season, hitting .231 with 1 home run. Cotuit has hit 3 this season, but they have struck out a lot as a team. 32 strikeouts through 3 games played, but the same story with the Y-D offense. They've struck out 40 times through 4 games, so both teams striking out about 10 times per game as an offense. Unfamiliar with a lot of the very talented arms that they've gone up against across the league. The 1-1. The breaking ball misses low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Eric Brown, the shortstop, at the plate. And that misses outside. Now 3 balls and a strike.
And we talked very early on about how Jacobs was able to pinpoint a lot of his breaking balls, and that was something that led to success in the first inning, especially after giving up the single. I think he needs to really focus on that slider.
And that ball hit hard down the third base line, but foul. Brown does have some good pop. Graham diving for that one. Very close play down the left field foul line. Brown with 19 home runs over the past 2 campaigns at Coastal Carolina. Has one as well this summer. But now it's a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the top of the second. As Jacobs is trying to strand a runner. The pitch misses low and away, and it's a free pass to Eric Brown. That brings up Brett Roberts, the 9th place hitter in the order.
And like I was saying, he missed badly on the slider a couple of times against Brown there, and that really set him back in the count. So if he's able to pinpoint that pitch, especially against the righties, he's going to be unstoppable. But now he needs to work his way out of another jam.
And now Brett Roberts to the plate. And in there for a strike, the breaking ball, 0-1 the count. Brett Roberts, the 9th hitter in the order, playing second base. Just transferred to FSU, was at Tennessee Tech. A COVID year sophomore, hit .290 in 2020 at Tennessee Tech, and this past season hit .343 with 5 home runs and 39 RBIs as he sprays that ball foul to the right side. Now 0-2 the count. Brett Roberts' cousin currently plays baseball for Clemson. And trying to battle here with 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 aboard here in the second. Jacobs comes set. And the 0-2. That ball hit towards center field. Gonna be extra bases for Cotuit. It hits off the wall. 1 run comes across. Another coming around to score. And it's a 2-out, 2 RBI double in the second. And Cotuit leads 2-0.
Well, I said the slider just wasn't looking very good, and Brett Roberts got the memo, took it for a ride to center field, and even Briley Knight with his speed couldn't catch up to it. That's exactly what the Cotuit Kettleers needed, because the pitching staff, like we mentioned before, a little unstable. You never really know what you're going to get from the starters, and now Y-D is behind the 8 ball.
So a 2 RBI double here in the top of the second, a 2-0 lead for Cotuit. That ball drops in for a strike. Cole Cummings to the plate, grounded out to Baez, the first baseman, to lead off the game. Pitch misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 to Cummings. No, it's going to be a look over at second. Back in safely. Cummings hitting .333 this season. 4 hits and 12 at-bats. Was at UC Santa Barbara. Hit .341 this past spring. That ball grounded to the right side again. Ferreira's going to have to make a play over to Jacobs. He can't corral it. And now runners at the corners in 2 outs. A tough tweener right there. Ferreira's had to charge, got rid of it quickly, but in and out of the mitt of Jacobs, or the glove rather.
And they rule it a hit. I think it's a good call. It would have been a very, very impressive play on both sides for Ferreira and for Jacobs. My only bugaboo was that I don't think Jacobs was necessary for that play because Baez hardly even flinched towards the ball, and he had plenty of time from first to get over to the bag and cover for Ferreras. It just seemed like Jacobs covering, he had the momentum, he was determined, made a quick decision. That's important, but it seemed like it made that play more complicated.
Beavers hits this one to left field. Smith catches it right at the foul line for the third out, but not before two come across. After 3 hits in the frame for Cotuit, they strand a couple as well, but it was Brett Roberts, the 2-out, 2 RBI double. Cotuit leads 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Back with you on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Happy to be alongside Brad Klein with Will Connerly here in the bottom of the second. And Y-D in a 2-run hole after the 2-run RBI double by Brett Roberts last half inning. Ryan Long out for his second inning of work. Facing off against Briley Knight, Cade Hunter, and Drew Compton for the Y-D Red Sox. Y-D 2-1-1 on the season. Cotuit 1-2. The game's at Red Wilson Field for the Red Sox. 1 win and 1 tie as Briley Knight fouls that one weakly down the right field line.
I've actually been very impressed with the crowds that Y-D has gotten. Of course, opening day was impressive in and of itself. It was impressive across the league. But now, okay, you're looking at it should be a good day for baseball. It's a Friday, and still you kind of think it's kind of a gray day, not the warmest day, and still get a nice crowd here at Red Wilson.
Briley Knight takes that pitch up and away, now a full count. Briley Knight 3 for 12 this season with 4 RBIs, 3 of which came on a bases clearing double as he sprays that one foul. But yes, the fans have come in full support at Red Wilson Field. 2,800 on opening day, which was the most across the league. They've supported the home team. Briley Knight grounds that one to Roberts at second, but he kicks it, stays with it, but not in time. Briley Knight finds himself on first base to begin the bottom of the second.
So a couple of things there from Briley Knight that I was very impressed with. Number one, running down the first base line, something that we expect from Knight at this point, but he's not on first right now without running the entire 90, because it was actually a pretty impressive recovery by Roberts, and Knight just kept on going the entire way. Number two, something that we didn't mention is that Long actually changed the speed of his windup mid-at-bat, almost like the opposite of a quick pitch. He slowed it down just to throw off the timing of Briley Knight, and he was hardly phased. He was able to put competitive swings on the ball, foul it off, actually had a couple of ropes down the right field line as well, showing you, hey, he's on it.
And after Brett Roberts delivered a 2 RBI double. In the top of the second, he commits an error to let Briley Knight get aboard in the bottom frame at second base. So Briley Knight on first, and an 0-2 count after Cade Hunter swung through the breaking ball from Ryan Long on the mound. And Briley Knight given a hard 90. That's why he finds himself on first base, because, as you mentioned, despite being an error by Roberts, recovered very well on the play. The pitch misses up and away. Trying to go with the 0-2 high fastball, make it 1-2 now. 4 hits through 2 innings for Cotuit. 1 hit for the Red Sox, which came from Brooks Lee last inning. Here in the bottom of the second, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cade Hunter, the catcher. And the 1-2 misses outside. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Briley Knight on first base, Cade Hunter 0 for 11 to start his career with the Red Sox. As that pitch misses low, so battles back from 0-2 to 3-2. And it's Ryan Long who questions Mike Beal at the plate, says, hey, was that a little low? And he confirms that it was. So a full count with Briley Knight at first base. Reached on the air, and it's Long who goes to check over with Martorella, but wasn't even holding Knight over at first. So Long comes set, and the full count pitch to Hunter. Hunter hits this one towards center field, back at the track, at the wall, off the top of the wall, and Cade Hunter with an extra base hit, his first hit of the season, and runners on second and third, nobody out in the bottom of the second.
Well, boy, did Cade Hunter need that one to the deepest part of the park, dead center. He just missed, and Hunter gave it really a ride. And again, now extra bases, no one out for Y-D in a really, really big moment here, because after giving up 2 runs, the next frame, Zach Jacobs is picked up by the offense. We talk a lot about shutdown innings. It's the exact same for an offense. Can you pick up your pitcher after he didn't have the best frame himself?
Let up 2 runs in the top of the second. Y-D trailing 2-0. And Long comes set. Infield is in, and a swing and a miss by Compton, the designated hitter. Compton 2 for 9 this season with 2 runs driven in. Swinging it from the left side. The infield for Cotuit is in. The outfield playing straight away. Shrek in center field, shaded a bit towards left field. 1 ball and 1 strike, though. Prime opportunity here for the Y-D Red Sox. Trailing 2-0. And just the 4th extra base hit as Y-D, playing in its 5th game of the year, just came off the bat of Cade Hunter. And it was his first hit of the season, hit off the center field wall. the second. Peyton Graham at the plate. So Tanner Smith was able to come through with an RBI as Graham fouls that one back. The inning started with Riley Knight reaching on an error. Cade Hunter doubled. His first hit of the season came in the form of a double to center field. And then Tanner Smith with the RBI single to center field. But Y-D still in good position. Runners on the corners and just one away, one already across in the frame. And the pitch misses low and away to Peyton Graham, 2 balls and a strike. Graham 5 for 15 on the season with 1 run driven in. Looking for another here. And it misses low and away. 3 balls and a strike. And it was Tanner Smith who prevailed on the 11th pitch of the at-bat. Twice, Y-D Red Sox have made Ryan Long throw more than 10 pitches in an at-bat his first time through the order. It was the 3-hitter Chase Luttrell who did it in the first and reached on the walk. And then Tanner Smith in the second is able to execute with an RBI base hit to center field. And now he's on first base after bringing 1 run home, and another at-bat that you'd mark down as quality in terms of pitch count. A full count with 1 out here to Peyton Graham. Runners on the corners. And the pitch. Graham grounds it up the middle. Brown, no play at second, throws it across the diamond, and Graham is able to bring a run home as he grounds out to the shortstop. And so now we've got a tie ball game here at Reb Wilson Field.
That's a good piece of hitting by Peyton Graham. Right there, just knowing, okay, just put the ball in play and make things happen. Exactly what he did.
So Brooks Lee now comes to the plate. 2 runs surrendered in the top of the second, and 2 come across for the Y-D Red Sox in the bottom frame. Teams each tallying 2 runs in the second frame of this game. Brooks Lee grounds it to the right side. Roberts fields it cleanly, throws it over to Martorella at first base, and that's the 3rd out, but not before Y-D comes through. 2 hits, including the RBI knock from Tanner Smith, the RBI ground out by Peyton Graham, and the double from Cade Hunter. This inning brought to you by Milton Cat for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit miltoncat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein and Will Connerly. Top of the 3rd inning, and we have ourselves a ball game. Cotuit 2 and Y-D 2 as well. And Brooks Baldwin, the left fielder, leading off the frame for the Kettleers. Single to right his last time up. And Zach Jacobs, the righty, deals that one driven to deep right field. Luttrell chasing back, and he's just a spectator. It is gone. On the first pitch of the third inning, Brooks Baldwin hammers it past the right field fence, and the Kettleers lead 3-2. A fastball that Baldwin was all over. And now it's up to Jacobs to catch his breath and face Martorella. Nathan Martorella, the first baseman, struck out swinging his last time up. And the first pitch changeup taken low for ball one. Now Martorella from Cal, usually playing some first base like he is today, but also has been the DH for the Kettleers, takes that fastball off the hip. So a hit by pitch after the home run. 3 pitches into the third inning, and Jacobs has lost the strike zone. Now taking a few moments that is, just to step off the rubber and rethink some things. Ben Rice, the catcher, swinging from the left side, singled his last time up in the second inning. And the slider in there for strike one. So a runner on first, that's Martorella, with no one out in the top of the third inning. Y-D trails by 1, 3-2. Jacobs from the stretch, kicks and deals, and that one sprayed foul down the left field line, out of play, 0-2 the count. So Jacobs is yet to work a 1-2-3 inning. In fact, the Y-D starters over the past 2 games have been a little shaky in their own right. Adam Meyer making his first appearance on Wednesday. And in the first few innings, he allowed multiple base runners. It only took him 3 innings before he got that 1-2-3 sigh of relief, okay, we're done. And now Jacobs in the same boat.
And going back to what Meyer did, he had 3 consecutive 1-2-3 innings, which was very nice. He retired 9 in a row.
He did bounce back afterwards,
to end his outing, and that was a positive sign to see from him.
You have to wonder how much there is to, okay, Adam Meyer's first time pitching on the Cape, Zach Jacobs' first time pitching on the Cape. Let's get back to what got us here. But also, hold on, I'm wearing a Cape Cod uniform right now. I'm going up against Cape Cod players. This is something I've been dreaming about for a long time.
It's a lot of players' dreams, the premier area to play collegiate baseball. And, of course, their dreams going beyond the Cape, too. A lot of players going on to play in the major leagues. You've seen the statistics about 1 in 6 major leaguers. They started on the Cape Cod, and a lot of these players with the scouts and the Major League Baseball audience paying attention to these players, they all have hopes to play at the next level as well.
2 balls and a foul ball after the 0-2 count brings us to 2-2 with no one out. And the pitch swung on and grounded sharply up the middle into center field, a base hit. 2 runners on, first and second, no one out after Ben Rice's single brings up R.J. Schreck as the Kettleers are in the driver's seat 3-2 in the top of the third inning. So already 2 singles for Rice, and R.J. Schreck flew out to right his last time up. Already some preliminary action in the Y-D Red Sox bullpen. C.J. Culpepper is getting warm. And Jacobs, the righty, deals the spike curve, nicks the inside corner, strike 1. So Schreck, the center fielder, hitting from the left side, and the Kettleers have really packed the top of their order, like you mentioned, Will, with those lefties. Showing bunt now, pulls back at the last minute, and he was hit by the pitch. R.J. Schreck making a smart move, knowing there was way too much bite on that slider, and took it off the pitching side, that right leg, for a free pass. The second hit by pitch for the Kettleers in the past 3 batters, both in this inning for the game, and that brings up Luke Gold with the bases juiced.
Yeah, 6 hits so far for the Kettleers. They're seeing Jacobs well, and then this inning with Baldwin hitting the home run and 2 hit by pitches, and then also a single. So 4 consecutive guys to lead off this inning, Brad, have reached base. And so now with the mound visit, they want to try to sort things out. See, now if you can't do some damage control, that's the main issue now is you want to get those outs, of course, because they're difficult to come by here in this frame.
And my apologies, by the way. It's Nick Domkowski warming up in the bullpen for the Red Sox, and Tom Vasella trying to be in 2 places at once. The pitching coach in the bullpen trying to organize those replacements. At the same time, that mound visit was coachless. Domkowski and Jacob Metter now 2 pitchers getting warm for the Red Sox. The bases are loaded. Martorella on third, Rice on second, Schreck on first with no one out for Luke Gold. First pitch misses low and away for ball 1. Gold reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning, ended up scoring a run. He was the first. DH from Boston College. Jacobs trying to work in and out of a jam with limited damage. The 1-0 slider misses outside, 2-0. Now Gold, a rising junior. He was playing competitive summer ball before he even reached the collegiate ranks in the PGCBL. One of those stepping stone leagues in New York. A lot of Cape players from the PGCBL. Fastball misses way outside for ball 3. And all of a sudden, Gold has to look over towards third and make sure the green light is on. Bases are loaded, 3-0 count, no one out. Jacobs, the UC Riverside hurler, in a sticky situation. The Kettleers lead 3-2 in the top of the third inning. Jacobs comes set of the belt, deals, fastball is in there for strike 1.
Needed that strike right there, have to battle here. When you lose your control in one inning and feel like you're getting hit, it's very, very difficult to try to grind through a situation like this.
You'd have to think whether he makes it out or not, this is his last inning for Zach Jacobs, and another fastball next to the outside corner that time. So a full count.
With Metter getting hot, he's continuing to throw with the catcher down, so getting ready to go in at any point here.
Payoff pitch with no one out. Sky to left center field. Knight, the center fielder, coming on, and he can't get there. It's over the fence. A grand slam for Luke Gold, and the Kettleers have blown this game wide open. 7-2, 2 home runs in the third inning, and Luke Gold gives it a ride.
2 hit by pitches and 1 single to account for the runners on base. And they all come home after the grand slam to center field. And now you're going to see a new arm, Brad. Not the inning that Zach Jacobs wanted there.
And he knows it. Already putting the ball on a silver platter for Pickler before he even got to the mound. Now Y-D will have a new hurler when we return. Scott Pickler just trying to juice the clock and make sure that his replacement has plenty of time to enter and get ready. Y-D trails by 5 in the top of the third inning. Zach Jacobs' day is over. His stat line is not finished yet. 2+ for the righty from UC Riverside. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Enter stage left, Jacob Metter, right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. The Sox trail by 5, top of the third inning. It was Luke Gold who cracked this game wide open with a grand slam to left center field, and that was the finishing note of a troubled performance for Zach Jacobs, the righty from UC Riverside. 2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 62 pitches.
This Cotuit lineup is really good, and Luke Gold is no exception. Luke Gold, first team All-ACC this past season, and he hit .316 with 9 home runs in 2021, but going to see a new arm and a pretty talented arm at that, and Jacob Metter on the mound, Brad.
Well, Metter, a fastball, curveball, changeup guy, uses that fastball quite often. Nearly 2/3 of his pitches go by the heater. So Metter from TCU is trying to tread water and keep his team in the game. Eric Brown, the shortstop, will be his first opponent here in the top of the third inning. 7-2 Cavaliers, the reigning champions of the CCBL. Brown walked his first time up and ended up scoring a run. Now, only 1 walk for Jacobs, but he did allow 3 free passes with 2 hit batsmen in the third inning alone.
He faced 16 hitters, surrendered 7 hits during the outing. But Metter, he threw the ball very effectively against Brewster opening day. 3 innings, just 1 hit and 5 strikeouts. Really liked the stuff from this right-hander. And Brad, this is another opportunity for him to continue on that first outing and eat up some innings. Y-D's going to need that, of course, out of the bullpen today.
And the 2-0 to Brown, smack to the left side into left field past the outstretched arm of the shortstop Brooks Lee. And a no-out single for Eric Brown. And again, Cotuit is cooking in the top of the third inning.
I mean, 6 straight hitters have reached base here in the top of the third. 5 runs already across.
And Brett Roberts from Florida State, who actually was the first one to really make his mark on this game in the second inning, that 2-run double to center field. And Roberts smacks that one left center field. That falls for a base hit. Brown routes second. He's on his way to third. It's fielded by Smith. On to second. A diving Roberts is in safely. Runners on second and third. Still no one out. Top of the third inning. The second double of the day for Brett Roberts. And the Cavaliers have the top of the order, Cole Cummings.
Five hits in this frame, 5 runs already across. And Metter comes into the game after the grand slam, lets up the single, then the double. And now a chance for him to battle and try to let Y-D get some outs and get out of this frame.
Cummings is 1 for 2 on the day. Singled in the second, grounded out to the pitcher in the first inning.
And Brown and Roberts, the first 2 hitters to see Metter, they were very aggressive against Metter. He's already pitched once in this league, known that he primarily throws that fastball. And last at bat on Roberts, who hustled to get that double, he was sitting on a fastball and pulled it to left field.
And the 0-1 to Cummings. He observes it outside. The slider never slid. 1-1 the count. Now, Metter, you mentioned he's already pitched in this league. That came on the 20th in the opener against Brewster. 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Metter deals line drive into center field, base hit. Brown trots home to score. Roberts will be held up at third base, and on the throw from the center fielder Knight to Hunter, Cummings advances to second, and again, 2 runners in scoring position for Cotuit, this time with an 8-2 lead. So the second single of the day for Cummings advances to second on the throw. And it's official, Cotuit is batted around in the third inning. Still no one out. 8 consecutive hitters have reached base for the Kettleers. It's Cummings on second, Roberts on third. He reached on his second double of the day. Entered Dylan Beavers, the right fielder. Swing and a miss for strike one.
Beavers with some serious power. 18 home runs this past year at University of California.
Took a big step up from 2020 to 2021, 250 to 303. And he smacks that one left center field. Briley Knight couldn't get there. He has to play it on a hop. 2 runs will come around to score. A 2-run single for Dylan Beavers, and the Kettleers lead 10-2.
Yeah, you mentioned his step up, and he uses the whole field, and that's why you see, he hit 18 home runs, but he also hit over 300. That's why he was landed on the All Pac-12 first team. Took that pitch exactly where it was taken to him. It was on the outside half, and he drove it to the outside, drove it to left field, opposite field.
So here's Brooks Baldwin, who homered in this inning on the first pitch. Waves at the first pitch for strike one. And that's kind of when I think the ballpark as a consensus kind of sighed and realized, okay, maybe Jacobs doesn't have it. That first pitch fastball, he knew exactly where it was going to be and when it was going to be there. He waves again for strike two. 8 runs for the Kettleers in the third inning. And counting. Still no one out.
4 straight hits against Metter since he's entered the ball game after the grand slam.
Strike 3 called, fastball on the black on the outside corner, and Brooks Baldwin shaking his head no on his walk back to the dugout.
Big out there to get the out, hitting so contagious, as you've seen 5 straight Kettleers before that strikeout had gotten a hit.
So the first out that Y-D has recorded in what feels like an eternity, and that's not going to change anytime soon. A single into right field for Brooks Baldwin. He's on first base with 1 out. And now make that Martorella on first base with 1 out. And Ben Rice is at the dish. Well, Rice was hit by a pitch and ended up scoring a run in this frame. Dylan Beavers on second base. Nick Martorella on first. 1 gone in the top of the third inning. Jacob Metter from TCU. Fastball taken just below the knees for ball 1.
Rice, an incoming senior, did not play in 2021.
Goes to Dartmouth, 6'2", 205. Metter deals a breaking ball in there for strike 1.
That was a sharp breaking ball. And of course, Y-D, there is action in the bullpen, but they want to see a few innings out of this right-hander because of the fact that when your starter doesn't go long, it becomes a bullpen game for your team.
Metter from the stretch, looking back at the runner on second base, Beavers. Pitch taken again for strike 2. Well, Ben Rice seemed to have really found a groove in the summer of 2020. He only hit a .148 for Dartmouth in 2020, went to the Futures League for the Worcester Braves, and ended up hitting .350, 43 hits, 27 RBIs, 11 home runs. He led the league. And the 1-2 taken just off the plate for ball 2, so 2-2 the count now.
Yeah, and ever since that Futures League, he hasn't been able to showcase anything. Led the Futures League in many stats, and now he has a chance to showcase that. That's what landed him on the Cape Cod League.
2-2 the count. Rice smacks that one to Ferreras, right to his chest. He fields it with his glove on the fly, 2 away, and the runners stay put. First and second, 2 gone, as the Kettleers still lead 10-2.
But even if you say, okay, 2020, small sample size, he hit 148. The year before, in a full season, he only had 1 home run as well. So really turned it around, found a groove during the summer of 2020. So it was nice to see that development from a developmental side for Rice.
Here's R.J. Schreck. He was also hit by a pitch that Jacobs threw to him earlier in this inning. 0 for 1 on the day, flew out to right in the second. And a ball and no strikes right now to Schreck. So Metter seems to be calming down a little bit as he steps off to look back the runner on second base, Dylan Beavers.
Brad, when you talk about a guy turning it around, how about Schreck? Hit 100 in 2020, 337 in 21.
Two-seamer just off the plate, 2-0 the count. Well, Metter entered this game with, a disaster, we can call it. And after that, gave up 4 consecutive hits. A single, a double, a single, and another single before he recorded his first out, a strikeout looking to Brooks Baldwin. Now there are 2 gone with a runner on first and second. And now a 3-0 count as he's losing track of the strike zone on the outside half.
Close pitch there. Hunter trying to frame it into the zone, but just missed. But he did enter with the bases clear, had a fresh start after the grand slam coming in.
Fastball by the ankles on the inside corner, just off for ball 4.
Now the bases loaded once again. He turned around, and since he's entered just in this frame, he's surrendered 5 singles, or 1 double, 4 singles, 5 hits.
Well, if you're into silver linings, I can give you one. You in the mood?
I'm in the mood.
It's only the second walk that Y-D surrendered today.
And also,
curveball popped up. Foul ground. Baez, the first baseman, looking for it. He makes the catch. Side retired. You're looking for another silver lining? Yeah, Y-D just forced Cotuit to 3 left on base.
That's good.
That's
and
the most you can have.
And it's only the 3rd, Brad, so that's another lining as well. It's time for Y-D to come back.
Well, it's going to be a steep climb, a steep hill to climb. They trail 10-2 in the middle of the 3rd inning. This break brought to you by Devadyme. Hey fans, Devadyme is the official website developmental company of the Y-D Red Sox. They designed and marketed and developed our league best website and helped us with marketing to bring more fans to the games and more visitors to our website. Devadyme helps organizations generate more leads and maximize their marketing budget. Check out devadyme.com to learn more, and be sure to like Devadyme on Facebook. That's DEVADIGM.com. First pitch breaking ball to Chase Luttrell for ball 1, taken inside. Ryan Long spent a long time sitting down as Cotuit just took it to Y-D in the 3rd inning. 8 runs. And now it's up to the Red Sox offense to really carry the load. Luttrell pops it up, foul out of play down the third base line. if there's anyone that you would want starting an inning after allowing 8 runs, it might be Chase Luttrell. His last time up, walked on 14 pitches.
It was a great at-bat. Of course, when you say 14 pitches, that is a great at-bat. It doesn't matter. But the way he was battling the full count, 5 straight foul balls to draw a walk, of course, he did a great job. And also, after a big inning, you want the same pitcher back out there. Like you said, he's been down for a long time. He's got to get warm again.
2-2 to Luttrell, smack to the right side, fielded on 1 hop by Roberts, lofts it over to first in time, 1 away. So only 5 pitches that Luttrell faced that time, stepped down from 14. 1 gone for Pascal Ferreras, who popped out to third, or rather right field, his last time up. Ferreras was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter on Wednesday. Was expecting the day off completely, never got it. Wraps that one down the left field line. That falls for a base hit. Baldwin tracks it down. Ferreras on his way to second. 1 gone for Pascal Ferreras. And Y-D has a runner in scoring position down by 8 in the bottom of the third.
Nice to see the extra base hit power from Y-D today. Cade Hunter, first hit of the year, comes in the form of a double in the second. Pascal Ferreras gets the extra base hit as well, his first extra base hit, and gets the double. And Y-D starting to showcase a little more power. You've seen.
Yeah, Cotuit might be going to a reliever. They are.
Yeah, so quick yank after the double by Pascal. And we talked about this in the pregame show, Brad. Cotuit's pitchers have not gone deep into games through 3 games so far this season, but wonder if that 8 spot has anything to do with having a shorter leash with Ryan Long, because of the fact that you're down for so long. To get hot once again, that can be difficult a lot of times when you're sitting down and you go back out. But when you completely rest, sometimes that can take a toll on an arm. Don't know if that was into the factoring of the decision or if that was already planned, if somebody got on, but new pitcher either way.
New pitcher either way. We'll tell you everything you need to know about him on the other side. You're watching Y-D Red Sox Baseball on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein and Will Connerly, spectators for what has become less than a close game. 10-2. Cotuit leads after that third inning. 8 runs in that frame alone. And now Y-D, don't call it a comeback, starting to piece it together. Chase Luttrell led off this frame with a ground out. Pascal Ferreras down the left field line wrapped one. He's on second base with one gone for Nate Baez. And quickly, Cotuit just gave their starter the hook, Ryan Long done, after 2 1/3. Nate Baez observes the fastball outside, ball one, and you mentioned it before the break. A big talking point for Cotuit has been that their starters don't throw that much. They're not really starters so much as they are openers, and you have to wonder how much of that is just, well, the Cape is a developmental league. It's a showcase league. You want to get as many arms out there as possible. As Baez skies it to shallow center field, Shrek under it, makes the catch, 2 gone. You have to wonder how much of it is, well, the Cape is a developmental league, and how much of it is, well, the starters aren't performing well enough, and Cotuit wasn't happy with the way Long was throwing the baseball.
And I thought that he wasn't throwing bad. I mean, he led up the double, but his line at the end of the day, 2 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, but no earned runs. That was an error that caused those runs to come across. So he threw the ball effectively. They take him out after the 8th spot. He was sitting for a while, but yeah, Brad, I think it also is a factor of getting guys into the mix, knowing when they're going to throw, so the scouts know, of course, what guys they're going to see that day. Of course, that plays a factor.
So now it's Jake Brooks. And the changeup there puts him ahead 0-2 on Briley Knight, who reached on an error in the second inning. Now Brooks from UCLA. This is his second appearance as a Kettleer. An inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts under his belt. No runs allowed. The 0-2 tonight, bounce and a nice backhand stop by Rice, the catcher, to keep the speedy Ferreras on second base. Cade Hunter would be next if Knight could keep the line moving. Brooks, the rising sophomore, comes set. Drops his hands, kicks and deals. The 1-2 taken in the dirt, and Rice bobbled it. It trickles near the Y-D dugout, and Pascal Ferreras advances to third base. So on the pass ball, Ferreras is 90 feet closer to whittling down this deficit. Y-D still trails by 8 after the 8-run shelling of a third inning, top of the third inning, that is. Zach Jacobs didn't last long, only 2 innings, 7 runs, but all earned, 7 hits, 1 strikeout in his Y-D debut. The 1-2 fouled right back into the mitt of Rice. Side retired as Briley Knight goes down for Y-D's second strikeout of the day. No runs, 1 hit and 1 left on. At the end of 3, the Red Sox trail by a mountain's length, 10-2. You're watching Y-D Red Sox baseball on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein, Will Connolly, happy to be with you as the Red Sox trail by 8 after that 8-run third inning. Here at the top of the fourth inning, and Eric Yost is on the bump for the Red Sox. His second appearance with Y-D. Gave up an unearned run in his first look right here at Red Wilson Field, and the first pitch fastball on the inside corner to Eric Brown. Well, Brown already has 2 runs scored today. He singled in the third inning off of Jacob Metter. That was the first batter that Metter faced in relief of Zach Jacobs, and Jacobs wasn't good. We mentioned that earlier. 7 runs allowed in 2 innings. Metter wasn't much better. 1 inning, 3 runs, all earned.
Cotuit was really aggressive. They jumped on stuff in the zone early, and I mean, at the end of the day, they were just hitting at a high level. A dozen hits already, Brad, and we're in the top of the fourth for the Cavaliers.
The 2-1 to Brooks, Brown slashed to the left side, and Brooks Lee catches it with his left glove in time. 1 gone. So Eric Brown responsible for the first out, and scratch that little defensive switch here. Pascal Ferreras is playing short now, the first time that he's done that for the Red Sox, and Brooks Lee moves over to second base. A chopper on the slider. Cade Hunter barehands it. The catcher onto first in time. 2 gone. So a quick line out to the shortstop and a ground out to the catcher. 2 away for Eric Yost, looking like the most impressive pitcher on the staff right now for the Red Sox.
2 consecutive outs, and you haven't seen that since the first 2 batters of the game for Cotuit, when Cole Cummings and Beavers both grounded out, Brad.
And Cummings at the dish right now. 2 hits for him right now with a run scored. That's actually, to scale, not looking like a very good performance for the Cavaliers. 2 for 3, 2 singles. And the 1-0 slider, rather curveball, is in there. Count even now and 1-1.
2 Cavaliers already have left the yard with the home run.
The UC Santa Barbara product takes the fastball just low for ball 2. Eric Yost allowed a leadoff single in his first appearance, but really settled down after that. And I mentioned before that unearned run. And now the count back even at 2-2 after the foul ball down the left field line out of play. Y-D still down by 8, top of the fourth inning. Swing and a miss. Down goes Cummings. Side retired. So Eric Yost with a perfect inning in the fourth. Pretty big deal considering the circumstances. Y-D in the middle of the fourth, still down by 8. This break brought to you by Curry College, because Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at www.curry.edu. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein, Will Connerly, glad to be with you as the Red Sox trail by 8 in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Cade Hunter at the dish to lead things off. The Virginia Tech catcher takes the changeup on the outside corner for strike 1 from Jake Brooks on for his 2nd inning of work. Well, Hunter doubled his last time up, came in the 2nd inning, was stranded there. It was a shot to dead center field off the wall. Chopper to the left side could be a tough play for a charging Cummings. In time, he rifles across the diamond for out number 1. But nonetheless, that double that Hunter had broke an 0 for 26 skid dating back to mid-March at Virginia Tech. Now, mind you, he missed all of April with a hamstring injury, so there is a little caveat to that stat, but still, the struggles at Y-D are not exclusive to summer ball.
And it was nice to see him break out of that. Of course, when you come back from injury at the tail end of a season, you haven't been in the cage. You haven't been able to see those live pitching, getting acclimated to that. And once you have one hit fall, then they can start to come in bunches, and that's what we hope the case is with Cade Hunter.
And a 1-0 count with 1 gone for Drew Compton. Smacks it foul out of play. The DH struck out looking his last time up. Compton, the lefty, grounds it over to Roberts at second. Lofted over to first, 2 gone. So it's weird to even think about this, but the Red Sox have actually been playing pretty well offensively. Weird to think that considering they're down by 8, but 2 runs for a team with 4 hits for a team that was really, really cold with the exception of that 9th inning on Wednesday. That, in the very least, has to be a bit of a silver lining as Tanner Smith swings through the fastball for strike 1.
It absolutely is. When your team, before this game, hitting .203 with just 3 doubles on the season, you've already seen a couple doubles today. One area of their offensive game that you want to improve is their discipline at the plate.
40 strikeouts and 5 walks for Y-D going into this game. They've only walked once today. That was the Chase Luttrell War of Attrition, 14 pitches. In a staring contest with Ryan Long that he won almost by default at that point. It was a great at-bat.
It was. It really was. And a big part of the game just from Luttrell, a great standpoint. And what Luttrell did, what also Tanner Smith did is put together good at-bats. And when you put together consistently good at-bats, you get rewarded not always in the hit column. Sometimes you get rewarded in the on-base percentage column coming in the form of a walk. And, of course, just walking 5 times through the first 4 games and striking out 40 times, a number that they want to improve on in terms of getting more free passes.
And Smith pokes it right over to Cummings at third. A line out to third, retires the side at the end of 4. Y-D still down by 8. This break brought to you by the Salty Dog Group. Hey, Sox fans, have you ever thought about buying or selling a home? Emily Shamansky of the Salty Dog Group is your pet-friendly neighborhood realtor. As part of the team at Keller Williams Realty Group of Cape Cod and the Islands, Emily is your go-to resource for home buying and selling. Call her at 508-221-0196 or visit thesaltydoggroup.kw.com. Back here at the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein, Will Connerly from Red Wilson Field. Y-D down by 8. There's no other way to say it. They're down by 8. 10-2, top of the 5th inning. And Eric Yost, the Northeasterner, on for his second inning of work. If you're looking for a silver lining, we've got it for you. It's Eric Yost, who really looked fantastic in the 4th inning.
I mean, the opportunity presents itself to pitchers on this staff to establish their stuff, to get comfortable, because they know that more innings are going to be coming their way throughout the duration of this season. But during this game, you're able to put forward your best foot if you're a Yost and go out and throw up a few scoreless frames and be able to do that at a high level.
A 1-1 count now to Dylan Beavers, who chops it over to Baez at first, takes it himself. 1 gone in the top of the 5th.
And Yost is filling up the zone, using his fastball curveball mixture really well. The fastball's been in the zone it was all last inning. He's locating the fastball, working well with Cade Hunter right now. He's competing on the mound. Despite what the score is, you're on the mound, you've got the defenders behind you, and you have a job to get the hitter out, and that's what he's doing right now.
So the past 5 Kettleers have been retired. Nice changeup on the outside half for Eric Yost, strike 1. Yost facing Brooks Baldwin, the left fielder who homered in the 3rd inning and struck out looking his last time up, also in the 3rd inning. A 1-1 count.
And that's right now, that 3rd inning has been the main disaster.
Swing and a miss, high cheese. 1-2 the count.
Other than the third frame, it's a tie ball game.
You credit those Red Sox fans, though. Still a pretty good crowd, pretty resemblant of that 1st inning. 1-2 fastball, just missed. Count even at 2-2, and Yost wanted it.
Well, you've seen the late inning magic from the Red Sox a few times in this young season already.
Fastball in the outer half again. That one was a bit farther, about 6 inches farther off the plate. The count is now full against Brooks Baldwin. And the UC Wilmington product gives it a ride to deep right field. Luttrell chasing on the warning track. He makes the grab. Chase Luttrell robs Baldwin of extra bases from his feet. And Y-D can take a bit of a sigh of relief there. Still only down by 8 in the top of the 5th inning.
For a second, Cotuit thought they may have had their 3rd home run of the day, but it's Luttrell who makes a nice defensive play, gets back to the spot, didn't have a ton of room to go, caught the ball right at the fence, and made a really nice play back for his pitcher Yost, who did let up a hard hit ball there, but he's continuing to record outs and set down Cotuit in order.
A ball and no strikes now to Martorell. Now here's the real question, because Luttrell and Yost are roommates, breaking ball for strike 1. So if your roommate does you a solid the way that Luttrell just did for Yost, how do you recompense him? Is it dinner? Is it dinner? Okay. I wasn't sure.
It's a steak dinner. Medium rare, big old ribeye. I mean, that's what's done for it. What do you say, Brad?
I think dinner could be fair. But on the other hand, the whole host family situation, that might not be such a valuable currency for Eric Yost right now.
That is true, but he could take him up on it for sure. Say, hey, you owe me at some point.
The count's now full. I see right now, though, from my vantage point, I'm tabbing Eric as more of an experienced guy. So maybe you take him bowling or something.
Take him fishing.
Fishing. Payoff pitch to the lefty. Chop foul off his ankle, and Martorella lives to see another pitch. You think fishing? Doesn't cost anything to go fishing.
Yeah,
That's
you
no
need
skin off of Luttrell's nose.
Yeah, you need some financial.
You need a financial commitment.
He needs to dig in his pocket.
Payoff pitch, wrap, foul down the right field line. We'll do it again. Well, if you have any ideas for those of you listening on YouTube, definitely comment below for Chase Luttrell, or rather for Eric Yost, really. 3-2 misses low, ball 4, and Yost claps his glove, not happy with himself for missing the location. A 2-out walk for Martorella brings up Ben Rice.
But I mean, if the viewers, you can comment, of course, on YouTube, and
Yeah.
you may know Chase Luttrell. Let us know what he likes, and you can deliver that message along to Yost.
You also might know a good spot that he would
Yeah.
specifically enjoy.
Absolutely.
If we're sticking with the whole restaurant.
Friends and
idea.
family watching, and of course, we will see and relay that information to the players.
Slider inside, gets away from the catcher. Fernando Gonzalez checking in for Cade Hunter. And a miscue on the new backstop. Advancing to second is Martorella. Ben Rice, and a 1-0 advantage early on. So Rice, the catcher, is 2 for 3 on the day, 2 singles, and scored 1 of the 8 runs in the third inning. Yost working from the stretch with a runner in scoring position, goes back to the curveball, and that slices the zone. 1-1 the count. Eric Yost retired 3 consecutive batters in the fourth, got the first 2 in the fifth, and then walked Martorella. And with 2 outs, a foul ball down the left field line for Rice. He's now down to his final strike. Rice, the catcher from Dartmouth, an incoming senior, a big year for him, draft year. And the 1-2, fastball just below the knees, count even at 2-2 now.
Rice already with a couple hits today, now 5 on the season. He's had a good start to the year, picking up where he left off in the summer of 2020.
Yost deals, fastball to the same spot, just low, so the count is full for the second consecutive batter. This time with 2 outs, so Martorella on second will have a head start. Payoff pitch to Rice, grounded sharply to Yost. He stops it with his glove, now fields it, fires over to Baez in time, side retired. Oh, Yosty is toasty, getting out of a jam, and Y-D still trails by 8. Eric Yost, 2 innings of scoreless relief for Y-D, and in the middle of the 5th, it's Cotuit 10, Y-D 2. And this break brought to you by Curry College, because Curry College is where you go to become anything you want to be. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education in graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at curry.edu. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein alongside Will Connerly from Red Wilson Field. Bottom of the 5th inning, and Peyton Graham at the dish for Y-D. 0 for 2 on the day. Now make that 0 for 1. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning, and he goes up against Jake Brooks, the reliever, and the righty deals. Outside for ball 1 on the fastball, the UCLA product from Fountain Valley High School out in California. He actually played in the Northwoods League in 2020, the summer of 2020. That's actually pretty rare. Most of those leagues were canceled, including the Cape, most of the summer leagues. Count even at 1-1 now to Peyton Graham as he wraps that fastball down the left field line towards the Y-D bullpen, which is simmered down now that Eric Yost has really kicked it into 5th gear in 2 innings of scoreless relief for Y-D. Fastball misses again, high and outside for ball 2.
Had a good at-bat last time, just grounding out, but drove a run in. That's what Y-D needed to tie the game in the bottom of the 2nd.
Breaking ball to the lower half of the strike zone, 2-2 the count. Well, Peyton Graham owns righties. At least he did in the collegiate ranks at Oklahoma. 316, 5 home runs, 2 doubles against the righties. Chops it foul, will do it again. And against the lefties, ironically, as a right-handed hitter, 217, 6 home runs, 1 double.
Yeah, interesting splits right there. Hits the righties better, has a ton of power.
Grounded over to third, backhanded stop. Cummings gets back to his feet, rifles across the diamond, not in time for the scurrying Peyton Graham, and an infield single to lead off the bottom of the 5th for Graham.
Yeah, nice stop right there by Cummings over at third base, but Graham was hustling, hit the ball well. Cummings did a good job, though, of saving that from not going to the outfield, or Graham potentially could have swiped second base. But a nice hit by Graham right there, his 6th of the season.
So brings up Brooks Lee, 1 for 2 on the day. That's Y-D's first leadoff hit of the day, by the way. Lee singled to center his first time up in the 1st inning, grounded out to second in the 2nd. Switch hitter from Cal Poly. Graham with an aggressive leadoff at first, chopped foul to the Cotuit dugout on the first pitch fastball. Now, Jake Brooks has actually looked pretty good, 16 strikes to his 7 balls, and has actually pinpointed his breaking balls very well, something I've noticed.
He has done well. He has good command with the breaking ball, fastball mix. Working here, coming out of the bullpen. It was kind of an abrupt, he came in right after the Pasquinel double, but he's done a great job coming out of the bullpen here in his 2nd appearance of the year.
Now, what did you think of that move by Cotuit to yank Ryan Long in that situation? At that point, he'd gone 2 1/3, given up 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 2 runs. Both of them were earned, and yes, the Ferreras double was not great for him to start off that inning, but they were not giving him the leash to work through it.
He went 2 innings. Likely what the case was that he goes 2, maybe he's scheduled to go 3. He goes out for the 3rd. However, in the 8-run inning, if you're scheduling pitchers, if that was the case, then Brooks was probably already getting hot in that 8-run inning, and then maybe he was sitting there waiting, and then they say, okay, he's already been getting warm. He needs to go in the game because we wanted to do a 3-3-3, and they say, okay, we're going to do a shorter leash with you here in the 3rd. Somebody gets on, we're bringing in a new guy.
See, but the thing I wasn't able to wrap my head around at the time, and I'm still not able to now, is that he pitched in that inning. So the thing is, if it was too long, if that 3rd inning, 8 runs was too long to throw Ryan Long back out there, you didn't want to get him back hot again because he was cold, then why even bother starting that inning?
Also, the short leash could have been just from, hey, he didn't play this past year. You want to know how deep a guy can go? Maybe on a pitch count. That is preset before the game.
And the 3-2 breaking ball make that change up to Brooks Lee. He chases it below the zone for strike 3. The first strikeout of the day for Lee. And with one out, Chase Luttrell, the dirtbagger from Long Beach State, at the dish. Walked his first time up in the first and grounded out in the third. First pitch fastball to Luttrell for strike 1. A Y-D with 2 runs on 5 hits. To scale, pretty good. And when I say to scale, I mean for the offense that has really struggled throughout the year. Luttrell shows bunt. It's a beauty. Rice flips his mask. On to second goes the runner, Graham. And Luttrell is gunned down at first. So if you're scoring at home, the second 2-3 putout of the day. And Luttrell, not known for his small ball, was thrown out by a shoelace.
Yeah, interesting play by the third place hitter in the lineup there, already with an out to lay it down. Graham does get to scoring position for Ferreras, who did double last time, but yeah, not a small ball guy. Has the most pop on the team, you could say.
Ferreras got the day off yesterday, nubs it over to Roberts at second. He gets it over to first in time, side retired. Another 0 in the books for Y-D. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on. At the end of 5, it's the Red Sox down by 8 after that 8-run third inning. This break brought to you by Milton Cat. For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein, Will Connolly from Red Wilson Field. The Red Sox down by 8. That's the bad news. The good news is we might be watching the resurgence of Eric Yost.
He's pitched the ball very well today. He's done a good job. And when you come in and the score not in your favor, the innings still matter. It still is very important for the pitcher.
And this pitcher has not gone beyond the 3 innings mark in his collegiate career. So borderline uncharted territory for Yost if he can get through this frame. He had 1 3-inning performance at Northeastern this past season, and a line drive into right center field fielded by Tyler Williams just checked into the game for Y-D. A leadoff single for R.J. Schreck, the center fielder. No outs in the top of the 6th inning for Luke Gold. Might as well call him the Bambino in this game. Had the grand slam in the 3rd. That broke this game wide open. Schreck runs well at first base. Fastball taken at the knees for strike 1. Couple of unannounced defensive changes as well. Wyatt Hoffman playing second now for the Red Sox. Ferreras sticks around at short. And it looks like Brooks Lee is out of the game. 1-1 the count now to Luke Gold from Boston College. Slider grounded up the middle, base hit into center field. Williams fields it with one hand. Runners on first and second with no one out. And Eric Yost in his first jam of the day. It's not the slider, rather the curveball that Gold got a hold of. And now Yost is really put to the test here. He was spotless in the fourth inning, really good in the fifth, only allowing one walk. And now 2 consecutive hits to start off the sixth.
Yeah, and through the previous 2, he hadn't allowed a hit, does have to dig deep. Now, you mentioned he doesn't have a ton of endurance because of the fact that he just hasn't done it much before. He primarily has been used in short situations, short relief outings, but he has an opportunity to get through it, to showcase that he can go 3 and he can pitch in bigger spots because he has thrown the ball effectively if he can dig out of a jam here.
No balls and a strike to Eric Brown, the shortstop. 1 hit on the day, 2 runs scored, walked in the first and singled in the third. I'll make that walked in the second, singled in the third. Lined out in the fourth inning. A ball and 1 strike now to Brown, and an interesting stance for him. The shortstop with his hands very high, basically above his ears. 1-2 the count now after the foul ball.
Yeah, does have his hands way up there, brings them back, swings very hard, swings the bat with just a ton of intent, gets his whole body into it.
But it's so high, his hands to start, you almost wonder how he gets under the ball. As Yost working from the stretch, deals the 1-2. Fastball taken inside and low, count even at 2-2 now.
That's the interesting thing about hitting mechanics and hitting stances is there's no one way to do it. If there was one way to do it, every hitter in the major leagues would have the same stance. You see some guys with high, some guys with low, but definitely his feet are really close together with the high stance as well.
The 2-2 from Yost. Swung on and missed, got him on the curveball, dropped third strike, doesn't matter with a runner on first and second. 1 gone in the top of the 6th inning for Eric Yost.
And that was a really good curveball pitch right there. But also, when you mentioned the hitting stance of Brown, especially high hands with the close stance, that didn't change with 2 strikes at all. The approach didn't change to choke up, to potentially widen up and try to get the contact. Kept that same approach.
And Roberts gives out a ride to deep left field. Chasing back is Smith, and he is just a spectator. Touch 'em all, Brett Roberts. A 3-run home run only fitting, and Cotuit slaps Y-D again. It's 13-2 in the top of the 6th.
Roberts was just sitting on the pitch and crushed it to left field. I know it's a hitter's park, but he got a hold of that one, and he's had a good day so far today. That was his 3rd hit, 2 doubles, and now a 3-run home run. 5 runs driven in, 2 runs scored, and 3 hits.
And that one again drops into center field. Tyler Williams misplayed it. It trickles all the way to the wall, and Cole Cummings, the third baseman, stomps on second base with a 1-out single and an error. Everything's going right for the Kettleers.
Talk about the superlatives, though, for Brett Roberts, who just transferred to Florida State from Tennessee Tech, where he hit .343 in 2021. But look at the day he's had so far. 3 hits, 2 runs scored, 5 RBIs, a home run, and 2 doubles.
Sam Beck getting warm behind Yost in the bullpen. Dylan Beavers, the right fielder, watches the fastball just off the plate, ball 1.
16 hits for the Kettleers. They've been just smacking the ball here at Red Wilson Field. They've been hitting the ball hard.
And 13 runs to show for it. Make it 14 potentially. A single over to center field. Cummings rounds third. There will be no throw home. 14-2 Kettleers off the RBI single by Dylan Beavers. His second, make that 3rd RBI of the day. So Eric Yost was borderline spotless in the fourth, a 1-2-3 inning. In the fifth, only a walk as his lone blemish. And in the sixth, gave up 2 hits to start the frame. Then he got a strikeout on Brown, gave up a 3-run home run, and no doubt about it, shot to Roberts. And from there, the double play to get him out of the jam. 4-6-3 bailout for Eric Yost, and a 4 spot in the sixth as the Kettleers lead 14-2. In the middle of the sixth, Y-D down by a dozen. And this break brought to you by Devidyme. Hey fans, Devidyme is the official website developmental company of the Y-D Red Sox. They designed and developed our league best website and helped us with marketing our own website too. Check out Devidyme.com to learn more, and be sure to like Devidyme on Facebook. That's DEVADIGM.com. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein, Will Connerly, glad to be with you still, and that says something. A dozen is the deficit right now for Y-D, 14-2 after the 4 spot in the sixth that followed the 8 spot in the third that the Kettleers slapped on the Red Sox. First pitch breaking ball outside to Nate Baez for ball 1. Baez is 0 for 2 on the day, and Jake Brooks, the righty, deals, chops it foul to Pickler. One hands the grab, the third base coach. Nice grab there.
Brooks has already tossed 2 2/3 in relief. Has faced 9 batters and just surrendered 1 hit with 2 strikeouts. And has filled up the zone, 23 strikes compared to 11 balls.
Ground ball, sharply hit. Cummings backhands it. Hackey sacks it. Rifles across the diamond. Not in time. It gets past the first baseman, Martorella. Out of play, and Baez trots over to second.
Should be a hit, and then advanced on an error on the throw.
So Nate Baez will toss his shin guard, doesn't need that anymore. He's in scoring position for Tyler Williams, who replaced Briley Knight in center field, had the misplay in the last frame defensively. But Williams is a guy that could really use some at-bats in a game like this to get going. No outs in the bottom of the sixth. Y-D down 14-2.
And these are the situations where he excels.
Change up at the knees for strike 1.
And what I mean by that is with guys in scoring position, in 2 outs, got clutch situation. I know no outs here, but when guys were on scoring position, hit .369.
Still looking for his first hit as a Red Sox. Pop up to shallow left center field. Shrek, the center fielder, waves off Baldwin for out number 1. So Williams now 0 for 7 as a Red Sox, and with 1 out, it'll be Fernando Gonzalez. So Gonzalez has not seen much time offensively as a Red Sox. fastball off the plate, rather on the outside corner for strike one. Gonzalez 0 for 1 as a Red Sox. On Wednesday night, he came in as a pinch hitter at Wareham for Cade Hunter. He had been dealing with a left wrist injury for pretty much most of the season up until now. Head coach Scott Pickler said that he could swing, he could hit, he could play if he had to, but wanted to be cautious with him. Catchers are just so valuable, especially in the summer ranks. And the 1-1 taken inside, avoided by Gonzalez for ball two. Well, Fernando Gonzalez on the biggest stage, collegiate summer baseball at its finest in the CCBL. And this comes from a player who never played varsity baseball. In America, that is. He moved from Panama in 2018, and transfer rules forced him to play JV in 2019. High chopper to Cummings, looks back the runner Baez, on to first in time, 2 away. So after playing junior varsity in 2019 and raked there, it was a no-brainer that his high school would call him up to the varsity ranks in 2020. But guess what? There was a pandemic that everyone seemed to be talking about. And Gonzalez basically sat out the year, went on to play collegiately. And that's all she wrote at that point. Now playing at Georgia, was a true freshman this past season. So 2 outs now after the ground out by Gonzalez, and it's Drew Compton. And the DH swings through the fastball for strike one. Compton 0 for 2 on the day, struck out in the second and grounded out in the fourth. And he lines it to the second baseman, Roberts, ranging to his right. He makes the grab, side retired. Well, no runs, 1 hit and a runner left on. At the end of 6, it's 14-2 in favor of the Kettleers right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network.
Back with you at Red Wilson Field for the top of the 7th, a 14-2 lead for Cotuit, and a new arm into the game for the Y-D Red Sox. On the mound is the right-hander Sam Beck. Through a third of an inning against Wareham, 2 earned runs. I'm alongside Brad Klein and our writer for the team, one of the writers, Tom Skolsky. So, Tom, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. It's nice to be out here. It is a little bit of a rougher game today, so, not the most exciting look for the Y-D Red Sox, but, a good game nonetheless out here at Red Wilson Field.
So, Tom, you're the writer.
Him and PJ McDonald.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a writer. Right now you're broadcasting. That means you're not doing your job. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, most of my job, actually, my job for today I have to write the game recap. So, I'm still watching the game. I'm just in a different setting now, over in the other room with you guys. But I'm more or less still doing my job. I'm just not really taking the game notes for this inning specifically.
All right, I don't want to hog up all the Tom time here, but I have to ask. What do you think of our side of the booth? It's nice.
It's beautiful over here. It's
got
much
the air
cooler.
conditioner.
Yep, it's much cooler on this side. Over there, we got to contend with people opening the door, walking in. We have, the PA guy in there. There's a lot
Donnie.
more, a lot more going on over in the other room. So it's a little bit exciting over here.
Yeah.
It's nice to be here with you guys.
Beck makes it a full count here to Mattarella, who's 1 for 2 today. But, yeah, it's been the one inning in the top of the third. 8 runs come across in the frame, Tom. And what did you see in that inning? It was just Cotuit who didn't stop hitting. They had a span where they had 5 consecutive hits as Beck gets the ground ball to the right side, 1 away here in the 7th. But it was just a frame where a crooked number, it's hard to explain sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think what it comes down to is, the Kettleers, they were just hot in the right moment. They batted through the order, and that kind of messed up my scorebook personally. I don't know about yours, but my scorebook only has 9 innings. And so
See, we came equipped. That's
Exactly.
the difference between us and you.
That's right. I had to wipe out the entire 4th inning column and make a whole new section for it. So yeah, it's interesting when one team bats through the lineup, but you're right. It really just kind of just is a circumstantial kind of thing. And they just got hot at the right time. It was single, one after another, couple home runs in there, and before you knew it, they scored 8 runs in the frame.
For those of you who don't keep score often, for those of you watching and listening at home, an unorganized, messed up, oh my God, where's the whiteout scorebook is the worst nightmare for anyone covering baseball. Broadcasters, writers, you name it. So I feel for you, but I kind of don't, because you should have come prepared. We got the Bob Carpenter scorebook, has 15 innings on that bad boy. 15 innings.
I blew it. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought like a $7 scorebook, but I guess
you get what you paid for.
I made a big mistake.
You'll be fine, though. But next time you're covering a baseball season, it is a nice scorebook to have.
Bobby C.
Sam Beck, though, on the mound, taking his talents to San Francisco. Got 2 years of eligibility left. Going to be in grad school pitching. And the second consecutive Y-D game that he's been able to get some action in here in the top of the 7th. Has retired 2 consecutive hitters. He gets a strike right there, Tom. But you write recaps for the team along with P.J. McDonald. And where can the fans read up on some of the work that you've put together?
Yeah, you just want to go over to the Y-D Red Sox website. And all of the articles, the most recent articles will be first, but they'll all be on that front homepage. You just got to scroll down a little bit, and they'll be right there for you to check out. So please, after the games, we post them usually a couple hours after the games, and they get right on up there. So make sure you go check those out. Read what we've done for you. We also write, various feature articles and game previews. PJ's got an exciting article coming out on Connor Wong, who played for Y-D back a few years ago and is now being called up to the Boston Red Sox at the professional level. So that's very exciting. So make sure you look out for that as well.
When's that dropping?
I think tomorrow morning he's going to put it out. So
we'll be on the lookout for it.
That's right. You have you could read my game recap tonight. And
are we going to want to be honest?
Well, you're probably, it's going to be a tough one. These past 2 games, PJ wrote the recap last game, and that was 7-1 or 7-2 final.
Yeah.
And so that was another tough one, and it's looking like it'll be the same.
What's the
tonight.
headline for this?
Oh man. I don't even know.
You don't know the result
started.
yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm looking over at the scoreboard, and there's a few innings left, so you never know what's going to happen.
All I will say is even the DY high school scoreboard has 10 innings. That's all I'll say.
That's right. That's right. The DY scoreboard has 10, and my Dick's Sporting Goods scorebook has 9.
Well, you can't win them all, right? As
Tough luck.
Beck issues the free pass to Shrek, and Gold now comes to the plate. He had a grand slam in the third as he fouls that one back to the right side. Gold today with 2 hits, 4 runs driven in, and 3 runs scored. 2 for 4. Beck getting some work in, retired the first 2 hitters, then issued the free pass to Shrek. So that's how it works. You and PJ will just switch off on the game recaps and mix in some features in there to provide some good media content for the fans of the Y-D Red Sox. Do I have that correct?
Yes, that's absolutely right. And it's a blast. We've been having a great time so far. It's nice to mingle with the players and coaches, the fans, obviously you guys as well. So I feel like overall, just we've all been doing a pretty good job getting that content out there.
You have him. What have you enjoyed most about writing the stories and also being around all the players and seeing the talent in this league? What have you liked most?
I think there's an interesting aspect of the Cape League that it's a bunch of collegiate players that they've never played with each other before, but they're all at very similar high caliber talent. And so it's interesting and crazy to bring all of this, these quality players to Cape Cod, and most of these guys, at least some of these guys, are going to end up in the major leagues.
All right, so with that, I have a question. All right, completely unnamed person related to the Y-D Red Sox, completely unnamed. We don't know who it is. Has informed me that he or she wants an autograph from Brooks Lee, thinking that he's going to be a major leaguer. Which Red Sox do you most want an autograph from as a long-term investment?
Wow. All right, I like this question. I think Brooks is probably the best answer, but I'm going to give you Peyton Graham.
Okay.
I think of all the guys, he's really surprised me this season.
That ball hit well to left field and well over the fence as well. Gold has done it again. His 2nd home run of the day. He runs in his 5th and 6th RBIs of the day. His 3rd hit, and it's the Kettleers who continue to pour it on.
Tom, what do you have to say for yourself? Bad luck charm?
I don't think I'm a bad luck charm because I was not in here during the 8-run inning. But listen, man,
so you're thinking Peyton Graham.
Okay, yeah, let's get back to that.
All right, so a little inside scoop here, okay? So in Wareham on Wednesday, okay, we were down the third base line for the broadcast, and we were right next to Peyton Graham at third, Brooks Lee pretty close at short. Graham made a really nice play, kind of hacky sack play, made it a good throw, but it was a little low, right? So, but he made the play, 5-3 put out. And after that, he turned to Brooks, gave him a little clap, a little congratulatory clap, and then he did a little motion with his hand saying, hey, thumb up. But from my vantage point, it seemed like, hey, you got to get that throw up.
Graham gloves it. The scoop is made. It's time to stretch. We'll stretch our time with Mr. Skolsky in the bottom of the 7th next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back with you for the bottom of the seventh. 16-2 is the score in favor of the Kettleers, and a new arm on the mound, Will Jacobson, the right-hander out of Harvard. And while the Ivy League, the season canceled 2021, did not compete, but Brooks did a good job on the mound in relief, 3 2/3 and just 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, and no earned runs allowed. But we're still alongside Tom Skolsky, intern writer for the Y-D Red Sox, and of course Brad Klein. And Brad, you were mid-thought talking about a story about Peyton Graham. You started a story with 2 outs, but now you're going to be able to finish it.
So I'm gonna replenish it here. So Tom says that outside of Brooks Lee, the player he would most want an autograph from as a long-term investment is Peyton Graham. And I'm telling him that Peyton Graham made a nice play, low throw, and Brooks gave him a little hand gesture saying, hey, go up. And I thought at the time, okay, it was a low throw. He wants it to go up, right? But turns out that hand gesture represented, hey, your draft stock went up a little bit. And that's a running joke around the team right now.
The stock going up.
Yeah.
I like
stock
it.
Up.
As it should. I mean, he's been a defensive beast over in the hot corner down the third baseline. And, you know, he just made a play to end this past inning, as you know, to end the inning. So Peyton Graham, I think he's a guy that you should look out for.
He definitely is. I mean, when you talk about the 2 leading hitters on the team in Brooks Lee and Peyton Graham, it's funny to talk how they talk about the stock going up, because the stock extremely high for both of those players. Graham in this year's draft and Brooks Lee, who's projected to be a first-rounder in the 2022 draft.
All right, so, well, you were a pitcher. Give us your answer for the pitchers. Which player as a long-term investment are you most inclined to ask for an autograph?
Yeah, and we've seen all the pitchers at this point.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of Pat Gallagher.
Yes, we haven't seen Pat Gallagher.
Tomorrow.
Excited to see him tomorrow, though, from UConn on the mound. But I would say Luis. You know, we saw him the first game, and his slider plays at a really high level. Also, Dufault looks really good out of the bullpen. So both of those guys, I think they have a really high ceiling. Dufault's velocity, the ball was just jumping out of his hand. Same thing with Luis, but that slider breakaway. And he had a really good first outing on opening day, gave the team a chance. Really liked both of those pitchers.
Okay. So that's 4 guys. Brooks Lee, Peyton Graham. Oh, 3 guys. Brooks Lee, Peyton Graham, and then Luis.
Speaking of Peyton Graham, he rifles it down the left field foul line foul. 1 for 3 today, 6 hits on the season. At the plate from Oklahoma. He was a good power hitter for the Sooners this past season. The 1-2 pitch is low and away here against Jacobson, the right-hander out of Harvard. Only pitched 1 2/3 innings in 2020, and then in 21 the season canceled, from San Francisco, California. And operated as a two-way player in 2020, playing the designated hitter sometimes and sometimes third base. Now on the mound for Cotuit, and the count runs full here to Peyton Graham. Yeah, he's been great with the bat, Tom, but also defensively. The first 2 games he was in the outfield, he went center field, then left field, then he went to the hot corner, and he stayed there. I mean, he's just made some great plays at the hot corner. Strong arm, and of course, great with the glove. He draws the free pass there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, defensively, he's been absolutely fantastic, and offensively as well. And it's nice to see him, you know, get this good at bat. He drew the full count, and then was able to watch ball forward to get a free 90, a free pass down the first baseline. So, you know, another good at bat by Peyton Graham, and again, just another guy to look out for for the rest of the season.
11 home runs, 11 doubles during his COVID freshman season this past year, and 10 doubles against right-handed pitchers, 1 versus lefties. Hit .316 versus the righties. We were talking about that earlier in the broadcast, how he's a reverse split guy. He's had 15 career stolen bases throughout his career and already won this season for Y-D. So when you look at the tools, he's shown he can defend, he can hit for power with the 11 home runs and 11 doubles, and he also has fielded the ball with good arm strength as well. So he has, when you evaluate those 5 tools, and that's what the scouts utilize to see how a player can project and where they may go, he checks a lot of those boxes.
Yeah, and you know, more than just a baseball thing, he's also just a great guy. You know, we talked to him before the game, and he was more than willing to chat with us.
And that's a base knock for Wyatt Hoffman. Wyatt Hoffman hitting in the place of Brooks Lee. He came in the 6th as they shuffled around some players on the defensive end, and he has himself a base hit. So runners on first and second with 1 out.
It's a good chance for Pickler to get Brooks Lee essentially a half day off at this point because, Will, you and I were talking before the game about how really Lee hasn't stopped playing. He hasn't sat, and the team can't afford for him to sit either. Going into this game with a batting average sitting just over the Mendoza line, and he's the most dangerous offensive weapon that they have. So, I don't expect him to get a day off anytime soon, but certainly a lot of baseball that right now he's just spectating.
And now Zach Liu getting his first at-bat of the season. Cal State Fullerton, where he plays his baseball, takes that pitch for a strike from Jacobson. 0-1 the count with runners on first and second. Liu appeared in 34 of the team's 53 games as a freshman in 2019. With 1 out and 2 runners on here in the bottom of the 7th. In his first at-bat of the season, pinch hitting here. That pitch inside.
As a side note, Will, remember when we were talking about how the viewers should comment below the video, give us a suggestion for Yost to Littrell to recompense him for that nice catch and right? How would you feel if I told you no one has commented?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Ouch. See, that's not great. It's not good on either side.
Right.
I really thought we'd get a comment. And the fact that you're not surprised that we didn't get a comment, it's disappointing in and of itself.
The reason I'm not surprised is because I was looking at the iPad before you grabbed it, and I saw that there had been no comments. So after a few seconds elapsed, I didn't think that there one would have came in. I am, a little hurt, though, that out of all the viewers watching, no one put a comment about that specific instance. Yeah, Tom.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let me set the scene for you. Eric Yost pitching, Chase Littrell with a really nice grab on the warning track. If you remember, you scored it. It was a little messed up with the scoring, but you scored it, right? Okay. Nice catch. They're roommates. What does Eric Yost do to recompense Chase Littrell for that catch?
I don't know. He just says thank you.
That's thank you.
That's you drop a thank you.
The consensus in this side of the booth, the good side, your words, not mine, was dinner. At the very least, dinner.
No, I don't know if you owe him dinner. I don't know if you have to take him out to get a nice steak or something.
Something.
I don't know.
Well,
it's baseball. Your teammates.
Frosty from the drive-thru.
You
Nothing.
All right, a Frosty. Sure.
Frosty.
Sure. 50-cent Frosty.
All right, so we've gone from $50 steak to 99-cent Frosty. 50 cent? 50 cent. He's got the small, too. Yeah. He got the small.
And it's, if you think about the converse or inverse of this situation, if he had dropped it, is there, you think about that.
That's a lot of Frosties.
Does it go both ways? That's the situation there,
I think if you drop it in a close, tight game, then it's much different.
You owe
but
the pitcher
at this
something.
point, I think, he just made a good catch.
Well,
you cheer.
If it's a close,
clap.
tight game and it's really the deciding play, then you might need something a little stronger than a Frosty.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yes. Definitely something stronger than a Frosty.
As a run comes across, the ball gets away from the backstop Rice. Graham comes around to score. So tally another run on the scoreboard for the Y-D Red Sox. It's now 16-3. Runners on second and third with Pascal Ferreras at the plate. So runs coming across here, and Y-D still threatening with runners on second and third, just one away for Pascal Ferreras, and he's somebody who also has some pop as well.
Yeah, he had a really nice hit earlier today too, right down the left field line for a double. So yeah, definitely look out for him. He could make some noise right here, and he's another guy too. I think what's unique about this team is just how many personalities there are. And he's just another guy who you always see smiling, you always see out there ready to play the game of baseball. He just loves the game, and I think that's what's so great about this team. All of the players just really love the game.
And a long visit with Jacobson. 13 balls thrown, 7 strikes here in this frame. Has recorded 1 out, working with runners on second and third in a long visit. But still on the rubber, now going to face Pascal Ferreras, who's 1 for 3. 3 hits on the season so far.
I'm actually surprised that Cotuit didn't make a move here. Looks like they have a warm arm in the bullpen. And we've seen a quick hook already in this game.
Ferreras swings on the first offering from Jacobson. In foul territory by the Cotuit. Dugout, and the play is made by the first baseman, Martorella, and he records the out. So
now you could see Ferreras was just standing in the box the entire time, just kind of waiting and praying that he'd get another chance to put a good swing on the ball. He was not happy with that early out. And actually, we've seen that actually pretty often now from Ferreras. Inability to work the count. And you can call it aggressiveness if you want, but very seldom do you see him into a deep count.
Baez now at the plate for Y-D. Swings through the first offering from Jacobson, working with runners on second and third, but also a pretty big lead. Cotuit up 16-3. 18 hits for the Cavaliers, 6 for the Red Sox. And they have been able to get a few more extra base hits, Tom. We were talking before the game. They just had 3 extra base hits through 4 games played, but they have a couple today, and that's obviously a good sign to showcase the power. Of course, some crooked numbers right there that they can clean up with the pitching staff, but to see a few of the offensive marks get going, that's nice to see for the Red Sox. Of course, Red Wilson Field got a good crowd, and there's going to be a few more games coming up, a good stretch of home games bunched up here at Red Wilson Field in the next week.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. You know, kind of one of the bigger storylines coming into this game is, hey, you know, the Red Sox got to get back on track offensively. They started out the season, you know, pretty decent, and then fell off these last, you know, 2 games or so. And this game hasn't been absolutely fantastic, but at least, like you're saying, they're showing a couple flashes of power. They're getting their base runners, and that's kind of important, you know, especially heading into, like you're saying, this little bit of a stretch of home games coming up. Another home game tomorrow, then I think away on Sunday, but then, you know, a few more home games after that. So it's a good time to get hot for the Red Sox.
Far from absolutely fantastic. That's how you describe this game. I'll give you this. Offensively, you're right. And to scale, I keep on saying to scale, this is one of the Red Sox's best offensive performance of the year. As crazy as it is to say, 3 runs on 6 hits, 2 runners in scoring position in the 7th inning. And this is an example of teams working counts for the most part and hitting in timely spots for the most part.
As Baez is checked down to the first base umpire, he did go around. He strikes out. One does come across in the frame, and the Red Sox strand a pair. They're down 16-3 as we head to the 8th next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back with you for the top of the eighth. Beck still on the mound. The right-hander Sam Beck, who's heading to San Francisco, was at the Division III level, then the Division II at Lynn University, and now headed to San Francisco in his second frame of work here against Cotuit in the top of the eighth. A 16-3 advantage for Cotuit at the plate now.
And as is the case with pretty much every pitch in the CCBL, chance for a player to prove himself. Nothing new there, but Sam Beck especially. And this is a guy who 1 game ago, 2 days ago, only lasted a third of an inning. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, he came to the Cape for a chance to prove himself. Like we said, a guy that played in D3, a guy that played in D2, and now playing D1, playing in the highest stage, and he only pitches 1/3 of an inning. Bottom line, the Red Sox are going to have new guys to the roster, and someone's going to have to go. A lot of temp players on this roster. That's nothing new. Sam Beck is one of those players, so you wonder how long he's going to stick around, and now he has a chance to go multiple innings in the CCBL. Prime opportunity for Beck.
Ritter at the plate. Beck on the mound. A few defensive substitutions. Graham now moves to shortstop as Ritter swings through the pitch from Beck, gets the strikeout. Fernando Gonzalez to first. Baez goes back to catch. Ferreras to right field. Zach Liu moves to third base. So 5 shifts on the defensive side as Coach Pickler makes some adjustments with the Y-D defense. So you get to see some action of Nate Baez behind the plate to know, okay, we do have 3 catchers who can get back there for us in terms of the players on the roster right now, not counting the reinforcements that may be coming as that's grounded to the right side to Hoffman, thrown over to Gonzalez at first, and there's 2 away. And you talked about how catchers were important. Baez handling Beck right now.
Well, first of all, they're going to get a new catcher soon. That's pretty public information. And if Nate Baez is your emergency catcher, you're in a pretty good spot. He's done a lot of catching at the collegiate level for Arizona State. And the interesting thing about Baez as a catcher is that he caught largely just to break into the lineup, which to me is incredible. Because typically you'll see a catcher adapt a new position to get into the lineup, not the other way around, because catching is such an acquired position, such an acquired taste. It's not something you can just pick up just so you can hit. Yeah,
it was a way to get in the lineup, and that's not the only player from Arizona State who had some positioning gymnastics to get into the lineup, as that's thrown over to Gonzalez. Hunter Haas, another Y-D Red Sox, moved over to third base to get into the lineup as well. Both players from Arizona State on the Y-D Red Sox. But a nice inning of work for Sam Beck. Sets down the side in order to the bottom of the eighth. We go 16-3 in favor of Cotuit. Back with you here in the bottom of the eighth at Red Wilson Field. 16-3 the score in favor of Cotuit. And Williams to bat for the Y-D Red Sox to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Takes a ball inside and low. Jacobson on the mound as Williams sprays that ball foul to the left side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Williams 0 for 1 on the day. Entered in center field in the 6th for Riley Knight in his place. That pitch taken low and outside. He's 0 for 6 on the season so far. Hit .288 in his sophomore campaign at Little Rock, Arkansas this past spring, and he hits that ball towards center field. He has his first base knock as a Red Sox, and he's aboard to begin the bottom of the 8th. As he leads off this frame with a single to center field. So now Fernando Gonzalez to the plate. From Georgia. Was a true freshman in 2021. Catcher playing first base now. Swinging it from the right side as he fouls the first offering from Jacobson back to the fence. 18 hits, 16 runs for Cotuit, 7 hits and 3 runs for the Red Sox. But the nice thing about the game of baseball is you always get to bounce back rather quickly in a season, a jam-packed season with limited off days, just 1 per week. You get 6 opportunities per week to put your best foot forward and to go out and try to pursue a victory. And while you may come up short in lopsided affairs like this one, you always have opportunity to get right back after it. As that ball is grounded to the left side and fair by Gonzalez. Williams runs around to third, and Gonzalez motors into second. So back-to-back base hits for the Red Sox. And they're in business here in the 8th, trying to make some noise. A big hill to climb, but trying to piece together some offense, especially for a guy like Fernando Gonzalez. Hasn't swung the bat a ton. He was 0 for 1 Wednesday night. He came in as a pinch hitter for Cade Hunter. He had been dealing with some left wrist issues. Had an at-bat earlier this game, but gets the base knock. That's very nice to see out of Gonzalez, who started 36 games for Georgia this past season in the SEC. As that pitch is taken low here against Jacobson. 4 of the next 5 upcoming games here will be at Red Wilson Field. And Cotuit gonna make a pitching change. 1 ball low thrown to Compton. And after runners are on second and third to begin the 8th, they make a call to the pen. We'll tell you about the pitcher next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Dalton Radins is the new arm, the right-hander on the mound. And he comes in with a 1-ball, no strike count. Here with runners on second and third. And the slider in there for a strike. Good break on that first pitch from Radins.
Just as a tease and a reason for everyone to keep on watching, social media manager Hannah is in transit to the broadcast right now.
As Compton hits that ball, a diving play made in left field. That's an out, but also a run as Williams comes across. So Compton gets the run driven in on the sacrifice, and now it's 16-4. That brings up Tanner Smith. And come again, you said something. You said
in
Hannah?
transit. Yeah, Hannah's coming.
In transit. Where's she coming from?
The dugout.
Okay.
So we'll ask her about her access, the inside information that she can see from her perspective that we cannot.
No, I heard you. I wanted to, dot the I's, cross the T's, but she's in transit to the broadcast.
She's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's happening.
All righty. So keeping the viewers engaged here at Red Wilson Field. We're in a 16-4 ball game in the bottom of the eighth.
Oh, she's
As
here.
Smith takes the pitch.
Hey, Hannah.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. You're
It's
live.
16-4. 16-4 right now. You're live
Yeah.
on the air.
I mean, it's gotten a little more exciting in recent moments. Great hit by Drew Compton.
All right, so here's my question. We were just asking. We were talking about you walking up here. That's the answer to your question. How's it going? Okay. So I was like, hey, Hannah's in transit. She's coming, right? So you were just in the dugout, inside information, exclusive access, big
Right.
access. What did you see that we did not?
Yeah, what's the vibe like in there?
The vibe, I mean, it's picking up. There's some cheering. Brady is having some really great words with the players. They're talking about, so the new pitcher just came in, obviously. They're talking about types of pitches he's throwing. He has kind of an interesting throw, I would say, personally. But anyways, they were talking about his slider, I guess. Apparently he's throwing around 88. That's his fastball. So that's the insider info. I did hear Hunter Haas say something about a slider. I think he said it's hard to tell that it's going to be a strike. I don't know. So that's the information.
I don't know.
Nothing that interesting.
Well, it's nice to have that access, and
It's nice to know that there's nothing that interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that good to know, though?
I mean, when it's 16-4, like.
That ball hit well by Graham, down in left field, and a run is going to
run is
come
coming
around
in.
to the plate. Graham gets the run driven in by Gonzalez, who scores. And you have had some highlights in this inning. Gonzalez and Williams both get their first hits of the season. You've all had a couple runs come across as well, and now Hoffman comes to the plate. So they're picking it up late, and you think of offensive performances this season, this is one of the best they've had this season, despite the pitching not being up to par. It's the offense. This is the best offensive performance you've had, tied for the most runs and most hits.
Yeah, and if nothing else, this has to be something on their mental mantle that they take away.
That ball hit
right
up
the middle.
Hoffman with a nice strike, and now the bases are juiced. And Peyton Graham continuing to produce with 3 hits. And Hoffman getting a hit as well. They continue to hit here against Dalton Radins from Woodford College, rising senior, was 6-0 with a 2.59 ERA in 2021. 2020 and 2021 combined, he is 10-0 on the mound.
We really are doing a great job hitting right now. It's a shame that there's an 11-run deficit because it's really picking up, and 11 runs is quite a bit. So I'm not sure if they're going to get there, but I mean, the Sox are proving to honestly have some comebacks. I know this season hasn't been that long, but they've had some great comebacks, I would say. Even our first game.
Yeah, they did have a comeback in the first game, scored multiple runs in the 8th and multiple runs in the 9th. They'll need a little more than 4 runs, though, in the last 2 frames if they want to climb a big mountain here, but they definitely have an opportunity to do so. 8 hits, 5 runs here so far as Zach Liu is at the plate with the bases loaded here against Radens, the 6'4" right-handed pitcher.
That pitch was way off. It was a ball. Way off.
But you're right, Hannah. It's a big deal to have the 5 runs.
I know. It's honestly pretty impressive considering, that is such a tough mental state for players to be in when you're losing by so much. I feel like it's really easy to just kind of give up almost, but they're proving to be really resilient, which is obviously a really important factor for these players to have. So now we have number 5, Ferreras.
Pascal
Ferreras.
Ferreras.
Yeah.
Sorry, I call him Pass. So
Is he cool with that?
at the plate. I mean, that's what his Instagram is. By the way, I am the social media manager. So if you're listening, please follow our Instagram at Y-D Red Sox CCBL. It's really great, I have to personally say.
And can you repeat that for the listeners?
Yeah.
How can they follow the work you put out?
At Y-D Red Sox CCBL.
On what platform?
On Instagram.
On Instagram, okay.
Yeah, very big into the Instagram stories. Lots of updates, and that was a swing and a miss.
What if
for
you're like
strike
Brad?
2.
You don't have Instagram. What's
Yeah.
what's the Twitter?
We also do have Twitter, which is a different
YD
username.
_Red Sox.
Oh, yep, YD _ Red Sox. So, if you're like Brad, you're lacking on the Instagram game, you can follow us there. We post a lot of the same content.
So here's my question, okay?
Yep.
It's a trivia question for you. And we'll get the answer out of you before we go to break here. This is already the 2nd time that you've been on the air on the
Yeah.
YD Red Sox Baseball
In the
Network
5th
this
game.
season,
In
okay?
the 5th
Oh,
game, so
wow.
you're on pace for a
The
lot
first time you plugged the social media, and I called that plug what?
Shameless.
Good for you. You passed the test.
Yeah, I mean, is the game is over.
That's it.
The game has been
They're
called.
ending the game.
Okay, well,
Early.
thank you guys so much for having
Well,
me.
hold on. You're not off the hook.
Oh, sorry.
This game was brought to you by who again?
Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at www.curry.edu.
Good job.
Thank
A
you.
plus. What are we gonna give it? Like a
A
92,
plus.
like
Yeah.
an A minus, but on the
A92.
precipice. That's the highest A minus you could possibly have.
Maybe a 94.
94. That's like a
We'll get.
meaty
You
A.
have time.
My first time was like a solid 70.
Okay, so we're curving it up.
Yeah, by a lot. Okay, I need to go shoot some content.
All right, go do
so thank you guys so much for having me.
So YD falls in this game. Brad Klein alongside Will Connerly. We had a couple guests on the broadcast today. Brad, it was nice to see other viewers get involved or other guests get involved in this one. But now with you on the post-game show. 16-5 the final. Here are the final lines for you, Brad. 5 runs on 10 hits and 1 error for YD. 16 runs on 18 hits and 3 errors for Cotuit, who comes up with a victory in this one. They improve to 2-2. Meanwhile, YD, they fall to 2-2-1, but they'll be right back at it tomorrow. And they won't just see Orleans tomorrow. They'll see them Sunday as well. They're going to play Orleans at home on Saturday and then at Eldridge Park at Orleans on Sunday. So a chance to see the Firebirds a couple times in that one. But this loss, a lopsided loss. You did come alive in a couple innings. Peyton Graham had a good performance, Brad. But this is a game where, in the game of baseball, like you mentioned, you've got tomorrow.
You've got tomorrow. That's definitely the best way to put it. And the pitching just collapsed at the worst times in the third inning. And actually, you could really look at it. And a lot of people are going to brush this game off, look at the box score, and say, that was just a 1 or maybe 2 innings that really got it to Y-D. But other than that, it was a really good game. Other than that, I will say this, though. Untimely bad innings. And it almost sounds redundant. But if you remember, the top of the second inning, Cotuit scored. Bottom of the second, Y-D scored the same amount, 2-2. And that, I said, was a huge deal. It was almost the opposite of a shutdown inning, to respond and to pick up your pitcher. And then, after that, 1 inning later, so after that, 1 frame later, the pitchers, Zach Jacobs, Jacob Metter, 8 runs. 8 runs in that third inning.
Yeah, and that was tough. They got a lot of hits. They were able to just piece the ball up. I mean, they had 18 hits on the day, 3 home runs, and it was definitely a struggle throughout the game for the staff. But there are some positives on the mound when you look at the way that they're able to get through this game when you let up 18 hits with 4 pitchers, 2 from Jacobs, 1 from Metter, 3 from Yost, and 2 from Back. And then also you had Graham and Hoffman, who each had 2 hits. Hoffman with 2 hits off the bench. So some positives from that regard.
Tyler Williams, too. Tyler Williams is a guy that cannot be ignored. Got his first hit, actually ran the bases really well, going first to third. I think he is a guy that if he starts to hit, and if he can get on base, he could be very valuable to the team because he does a lot of things that Pickler would love to see on the field consistently. That can't happen if he's not hitting.
And also, Y-D coming into this one, 4 games, 40 strikeouts. They didn't strike out as much tonight, which was a positive sign. Their hitters just struck out 6 times today. But you think about the way in which the first hit from Gonzalez as well. So you get some guys getting in the action, but right back at it tomorrow at 5 o'clock against Orleans. We wrap this one up. Any closing thoughts?
Wasn't a good game. Wasn't particularly fun for Y-D. That is all.
That is all, but it could be some fun tomorrow, so catch us. We'll be live at 4:50 here from Red Wilson Field, hosting Orleans. For Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and so long from Red Wilson Field.